Welcome to SWTV, Sylvia with the Voice, your ultimate source for the most abnormal news and wildest reactions on the internet. I'm Sylvia, and we need to talk about what is happening in these streets. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button because it's about to get weird. Let's go. There is one question that keeps coming up in the Nolan Wells case, and it may be the most uncomfortable question of all. How does race actually matter here? Nolan was an 18-year-old black Filipino young man who went to Horn Island with his white friends and never came home. And from the very beginning, people have questioned whether this case would have been handled differently if the racial dynamics were reversed. But here's the thing. We still do not have evidence establishing race as a motive. So today I want to have an honest conversation. Is race an important part of this case? Or are we allowing history and emotion to fill in the gaps that investigators haven't answered yet? Let's get into the video, y'all.
And I want to say this to Brother Elmore, Nolan's stepfather. And I want to say this to Coach Tracy, who I believe was one of Nolan's coaches. Brother Elmore, the stepfather, and Coach Tracy, the coach, both said on national television, Art, that they don't think race played a role in this at all. Elmore, Tracy, two dark-skinned black men in Mississippi, and both of them said on national television, I don't think race had anything to do with this case. I am disappointed in Brother Elmore. I am disappointed in Coach Tracy. How dare you help these young people avoid the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. federal hate crimes law, Art? By you saying you don't think this had anything to do with race, Brother Elmore and Coach Tracy, you are helping these white folks avoid federal hate crimes charges. And let me tell you why this is important, Art. Let me tell you why this is important. Under the federal hate crimes law, Matthew Shepard, James Byrd, signed by Barack Obama, 2009. Under the Federal Hate Crimes Act, Art, you can go to jail for life. You can go to jail for life under the federal hate crimes law. So if you can go to jail for life under the Federal Hate Crimes Act, Art, why is Nolan's stepfather and coach telling white folks they don't think it had anything to do with race?
And this is where the conversation gets complicated. Nolan was a black Filipino. His friends were white. That alone does not prove racism played a role. But pretending those racial dynamics don't affect public trust would also be unrealistic. I think two things can be true at the same time. You can acknowledge that race absolutely influences how people perceive this case, especially given Mississippi's history, while also recognizing that perception is not the same as evidence of a racially motivated crime.
But would y'all please watch what comes out of your mouth during this investigation, because you are undermining justice for Nolan. I hope you're listening, Brother Elmore, and I hope you're listening, Coach Tracy. You are undermining justice for Nolan by saying you don't think race had anything to do with it. How in the hell do you know? How do you know if race had anything to do with it? How well do you know these young people? It was 30 of them, Art. It was damn near 30 white youth spread across 3 boats. How many of them did Elmore know? How many of them did Coach Tracy know? So how are you going to go on TV and say, I don't think it had anything to do with race? Why are you helping them avoid accountability for what they may have done? I don't know if they did it, Art. You don't know if they did it. They don't know if they did it. And they definitely don't know if it was motivated by race. What they should have said, Art, is what Javon said. And that's why I like the young brother Javon. That's why I like that young brother Javon. His mother, Sister Tashima, shout out to you. You raised a good kid. When TMZ asked Javon if he thought it had anything to do with race, Art, when TMZ asked Javon if he thought this had anything to do with race, he said, what? I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to answer that question. Perfect answer. Perfect answer. Or, Art, they could have said, I don't know. Nolan's stepfather could have said, I don't know if it had anything to do with race. Coach Tracy should have said, I don't know if it had anything to do with race. But to say you don't think it had to do with race when he was the only black boy across 3 ships, Are you out of your mind? Why would you say that and help them avoid the Federal Hate Crimes Act? Javon gave a better answer than those two black men.
People making the point that, at least in the photos that we initially saw, that Nolan was the only African-American kid who was out there, at least on that boat. Do you think, having been there on the island with this large group of people, that race plays a factor in whatever happened here?
Again, I don't want to answer that question.
He had to think long and hard before refusing to answer that question.
I wouldn't say, like, yeah, I wouldn't want to answer that question. I mean, obviously we go to Ocean Springs, we're gonna have white friends, so like, that's, I mean, I guess it's pretty normal down here, but.
Do you think race might be a factor?
Like my wife said, I don't want to believe that, but it's so many things have happened.
And he continues to go on and say, oh, my son didn't see color. And that is exactly why he's no longer with us. Because y'all want to get up here and behave as if you are not a black man and he is not a black man. And that is why this continues to happen. Because y'all keep trying to play this integrated game. This will continue to happen until black people accept that you're different and they don't like us. Parents are sacrificing their children to be accepted, a part of another community. How many more times do these boys have to, and the parents show you each and every time that they are the issue and nobody is speaking on it? Nobody is saying it. Y'all trying to give them sympathy. I'm tired of the y'all are sacrificing y'all black boys because you're not raising them appropriately. They need to see color. How are you not gonna see color when you're in America? These niggas eat us. What are you saying? Y'all are behaving like, oh my God, y'all want to be accepted that bad? I've never seen this shit. Y'all are sacrificing your children to be accepted among white people. Literally. How is my black son not gonna see color? Nigga, you better see color. You're a black man. They will take your ass out of here in 2.45 seconds and we ain't gonna be able to find you or do shit about it. And you're a black man. Well, like, when are we gonna start having real conversations? Like, it's irritating me. This whole kumbaya cool shit is irritating me.
Would the public reaction have been different if a white teenager disappeared after going on an isolated island with black friends and was later found? That's an uncomfortable hypothetical, but I think it explains why so many people are questioning how this case has been handled. At the same time, we cannot turn suspicion into guilt. Authorities have not named Nolan Wells' friends as suspects, and there has been no official findings that race caused Nolan's death. Ben Crump's involvement naturally places this case in a broader civil rights conversation, but his involvement itself does not prove that what happened to Nolan was racially motivated. His family hired him because they want answers and transparency. Remember, Nolan's independent autopsy still lists his cause and manner of death as undetermined. Until that changes, there are major questions that simply have not been answered. For me, the biggest issue should be transparency. Whether race played a role or not, Nolan's family deserves a complete explanation of what happened between the last confirmed sighting of him and the discovery of his body. So let me put the question directly to y'all. If Nolan and his friends were all the same race, would this case have been receiving the same level of suspicion? And if your answer is no, what does that tell us about trust between communities and law enforcement? At the end of the day, I don't think we should force race into the evidence, but I also don't think we should be afraid to discuss why race has become such a major part of the public reaction. The goal shouldn't be to prove one narrative or another. The goal should be finding out exactly what happened to Nolan Wells and making sure every piece of evidence is examined fairly, transparently, and without bias. Please remember to comment, like, subscribe. We'll continue the conversation in the comments below. Please remember to be mindful and respectful, and I'll see you in the next video.